On this next chapter of the masterclass, I focus on switching drilling partners every 4 to 5 minutes. And every drilling partner, there is a different style and a different scenario. With this first one, I'm drilling with my teammate Zach Kinen. And as you guys can tell, I'm just going over open guard long steps. I'm focusing on different situations, different guard frames that he presents to me. But most important, notice how he's not controlling any of my legs. He's not doing De La Riva, he's not doing reverse De La Riva. I'm using my creativity and making sure that my leg work is correct, my positioning, my posture, the way how I'm applying pressure, and most important, the way how I'm changing speed. Notice as for me and him, both start in a slower pace, but as we're about to apply the long step, we change the speed. Speed has to be a little bit faster. He has to make sure that the head goes in the right positioning, but to make sure that you're successfully able to get to the side with your legs free, there needs to be a change of a speed. On these drills, I mainly wanted to show to you guys the way how I practice the long step. A lot of times I get a lot of people asking me, how do I like to drill these sequences? How do I practice them in my training sessions? And this is a very natural take where I'm practicing with different teammates. I'm practicing focusing on different scenarios, but still the same technique and making sure that I'm able to finish with the long step.
Yeah, that hurt. It's already so tight. Probably come up here too, not bend it. You know, the guys come around.
So annoying. So you actually do a few more from there too, I think, right?
Now switching scenarios, I'm drilling with Colabate, a teammate of mine. And notice how before I start any of the long steps, he's either controlling my leg in the reverse De La Riva or regular De La Riva. I'm trying to present different scenarios that could happen in around the sparring, and I'm trying to make sure that I'm comfortable with those scenarios. So look how he's controlling De La Riva, I'm able to break the control that he has and still be able to apply the long step. Usually a lot of people have trouble applying the technique in the beginning. If I'm free with my legs and my partner is just framing the guard, it'll be very easy for me to apply the long step. But if my partner initiates with the De La Riva, or maybe he pulls guard and has the reverse De La Riva, it shouldn't be something that slows me down. So pay attention on how I'm focusing on mainly the beginning, the scenario that usually happens during a round of sparring or a competition. The best scenario would be for me to be free with my legs. But I need to always prepare myself in case my partner does have control over De La Riva or reverse De La Riva. In this case, we're both focusing on sliding your leg out of the reverse De La Riva and long step, or making sure that I go under and I break the grips that he has on my De La Riva leg and make sure that I free my legs before applying the long step. The next scenario, and one of the most common scenarios that usually slows people down, will be the spider guard. Here I'm drilling with my friend and teammate Gustavo Ogawa, and this is a big part of the game he plays. He plays a lot of spider guard. That's the reason why I chose him as a drilling partner, to make sure that I had the right reaction and right feeling of the position. This is very important as well. Try to use people that train in your class and see how their style can somehow help you prepare for that situation, that scenario. In this scenario, we're working on spider guard, making sure that I clear the grips first before I'm able to apply the long step. A lot of times, I won't be able to fully clear his guard. Of course, he will be retaining this guard, he will be replacing the legs, he will be trying to regain those grips. And that's where I'm trying most likely apply the long step, where I circle my hand out of the lasso, or a lot of times I'm posturing up to make sure I make him switch the grips. That could be something that definitely helps you guys out. Sometimes the best answer for a certain guard is to make sure I present to my opponent a different guard. Maybe he will not let go the spider guard if I'm just trying to break those grips, but if I start presenting him my legs, stepping forward and switching my posture, giving him the De La Riva, he will feel comfortable switching that guard from spider guard to De La Riva, making it easier on my transition into the long step. I'm trying to use these drilling sessions for you guys to understand how the mindset of a competitor or how the mindset of a high-level athlete works whenever we're training. I find nowadays, very difficult to continue improving if you just come to the class and you're not focusing on any situation, scenario, or technique. Every day I need to make sure that I have goals, that I have different situations that I need to work on. That's why I gave you guys the example of using my training partners. As you guys can see it, I might not be the same weight or sparring partner for Gustavo Ogawa, but I'm sure that he can be a great drilling partner for me. His spider guard is very well retained, and he has a really good control, very successful when he's able to apply this to his opponents. This will be the best drilling partner for me to practice my long step starting from the spider guard. On this last video, I'm drilling with one of the masters from Professor Guy's class. And notice how I'm trying to work on a situation that happens the most with him, where his opponent is usually either trying to stack or dropping down their knees. Usually older people or people that play old school jiu-jitsu, they most likely will feel more comfortable passing on their knees trying to stack the leg. And look how I'm still able to connect to the same long step. I'm making sure that regardless what situation I'm in and regardless what game style I'm trying to play, the long step, it's definitely a technique that works for all these scenarios. Look how I'm dropping down my knees, I'm applying pressure, I'm stacking on the legs. So as you guys can see it clearly, I'm using old school pass, under, over, or stacking. But I'm switching from the under, over to a quickly control of the head and long stepping. This is definitely a situation that happens more often with the masters than the other people. But I'm still trying to show the students, and I'm still working on connecting from the old school to the modern jiu-jitsu. And that's what was the main focus building up this masterclass and structuring it. I wanted to cover all situations, competitors, kids, masters, but most important was to really compare and make sure that I'm able to connect the old school jiu-jitsu with the long step modern jiu-jitsu. This drilling session will be a great example, especially drilling and training in a fundamentals class, a class where you get all levels and different ages. You guys can see that I'm able to use a master as a drilling partner and still able to practice the same technique that we've been focused on.